hello. How are you? It's Charmaine again, registered and licensed dietitian. I wanted to go ahead and show you how to make the quickest stir fry. So you can use any noodle. The best thing to do would be saute your veggies. And I would start with onion. I just think that it's nice to kind of brown your onions a little bit. Just a touch. This is a quick 10-minute meal, okay? So I feel like when you make pasta, or should I say stir fries with pasta, it's always a good idea to steam it or boil it beforehand. If you want to cook in one pot, you can saute it, then add the moisture or the water. But I noticed that it comes out soggier versus boiling your pasta first and then putting that steamed or boiled noodle into adding that like to a wok or a frying pan. I feel like you come out with a better outcome that way. So saute the onions, add your mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I went ahead and went with white mushrooms and baby portabella mixture. I just sliced them like so. Some people don't care to slice their mushrooms. They just throw them in there, and that's fine too. That'll saute real nicely with the onions. So let that do about a minute. And, mixed veggies, they're already cooked. So you can add it later or you can add it now. I tend to like to add mine a little earlier on. Okay. We're gonna add our garlic with the habanero pepper. I just cut up half a habanero pepper. You can add more or you can add none. That's up to you. So these last 4 ingredients, I have collard greens. You can put anything, spinach, kale, any greens you have on hand. The garlic I'm gonna slice up real quick. I wanted to show you like this first because this garlic, the best way to get the most flavor, that umami flavor really coming out, is by taking your garlic and just smushing it with your palm and then slice. I love garlic. My mom taught me to keep it in the freezer because it will go bad quickly. And on top of that, it actually doesn't melt, but it defrosts or thaws out really fast. So as you can see here, our veggies are already cooked. Okay, that took all of, 3 minutes? All right, so I'm just gonna slice the garlic real quickly. And you can just slice them in 2 or 3 or 5 or 8. Just if you barely want to see your garlic, you can even thinly slice it or blend it. That's fine too. So I'm throwing in my garlic. I've just sliced it up real quick. I like to put the green onions as a garnish and the last minute of cooking. So I can go ahead and throw in my collard greens and my habanero pepper. And we'll go ahead and toss in a little bit of the green onions. And we'll put the last as a garnish. There you go. You can cook with a little more oil. I started off with about 2 tablespoons of canola oil. You can use walnut oil or olive oil. Actually, I used olive oil in this instance, but you can use canola or walnut, doesn't matter. Okay. Next, just throw in the pasta. Yes. This is one of those meals that you're like, I'm starving. And you're just in a pinch for time. I think every person, no matter what you do, everyone's busy. If you're just taking care of yourself, if you're helping taking care of a spouse, taking care of parents, taking care of kids, you're busy. So this has very little salt because I put a little salt in the noodles. This is a thin spaghetti. This is the secret to any quick cooking. I also have in my pantry thin spaghetti that's whole grain. I have all kinds of thin, quickly cooked cooking pastas or noodles. You can, angel hair is awesome. So go ahead, crank up the heat and add your seasonings. I have crushed red pepper, thyme, a little bit of Louisiana seasoning. I have salt substitute, also known as potassium chloride. The only difference in taste is I notice it has a little bit of a, it's almost like an acidic taste to that versus the sodium chloride. And then I went ahead and added some ginger, powdered ginger, basil, and minced onion, dried onion. So I already put fresh onion, but I went ahead and added minced onion. You can even add powdered onion. The cool thing about that is it just helps when you are trying not to cook with Knorr or Maggi, then add more onion. And then of course you're trying to get away from sodium. If you are sensitive to becoming hypertensive, then try potassium chloride, also known as salt substitute. So just saute that. Now, for secrets to make this look and taste juicier, you can actually make a sauce out of the pasta water. So I'm just taking off the last couple of noodles. I see a few noodles kind of hanging out. But anyway, take your pasta water. You can make this more of a Thai kind of noodle by adding peanut butter, some vinegar in the form of balsamic or apple cider vinegar. You can even add a splash of honey if you want, but for today's purposes, I'm not adding honey because I'm keeping it vegan for this meal. Just a little bit of peanut butter. I'm just going to kind of stir it in there with the acid. It's just going to dissolve as it heats on the stove. And then while I'm waiting for that to kind of cook a little bit on the side, I'm adding my famous nutritional yeast. I love it. You can add this to even fried rice or any kind of stir fries, sautés. Anytime you're making veggies or anything, just add it in there. Basically like a salt-free Knorr or Maggi. I love the flavor. It's a kind of a nutty flavor, and it just has extra B vitamins and potassium. It's pretty good for anybody, especially vegans, vegetarians tend to cook with nutritional yeast. Okay, so I've kind of made a little bit of a sauce here on the side, and then another option would be to take any sauce that you have already made in the fridge or stew. So I do have some stew left over, so this is a good time to add leftovers. So I'm gonna go ahead and add, a lot of West Africans like to add sauces or stews to their noodle stir fry. You can do that. This is still vegan, y'all. There's no animal, no cheese, no dairy, no eggs in there so far. So now I'm taking my little sauce, peanut butter / balsamic vinegar sauce. I'm pouring it in there. So remember, there's already salt, potassium chloride, there's seasoning, so it's spicy, a little kick to it. And that's it. You got a quick stir fry. This is great if you have any vegetarian or vegan guests or people who are flexitarian, you know, they kind of go in and out of being vegetarian or vegan. This is really a quick, easy way. And then for protein, you're probably wondering, where's the protein? Well, you can do anything. You can decide to add these wonderful crumbles that we made earlier. These are soy crumbles, tofu crumbles, meat-free, ground, whatever you want to call it. That's what we've made earlier. You can check out my other video where I went ahead and showed you all how to make that. And there you have it. Some people like to add a little more oil to their noodles, but just keep in mind, if you are on a weight loss journey or you're trying to watch your triglycerides or you're on a heart healthy diet, then this is about the amount of oil you need. But if you wanted to add a little more just to make it juicier, you can go ahead and add a little drizzle. Walnut oil, canola oil, or olive oil. And there you have it. Some people may decide to use coconut oil, but I'm not a big fan. I use that in some recipes. I may even fry some things with that every now and then, but it's not my base oil, just due to the simple fact that it is a higher saturated fat than olive oil, canola oil, walnut oil. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching.